Hello everyone, Ray here. Today we've got a phone which is not available in the US nor the UK. This is the C9 Pro from Samsung, which is indeed a rare 6-inch massive phablet from Samsung, with decent hardware. Let's take a look. So Samsung's not particularly interested in producing high-end, massive phablets, with displays over 6 inches. The Z9 Pro here seems to be the exception. It is both taller and wider than a giant enough Huawei Mate 9. Alright, the design, it is indeed uninspired. We have a simplistic rectangular design on the front, with the iconic home button/fingerprint sensor and the rounded corners for easier grip. The antenna lines on the back with the aluminium unibody, the Z9 Pro's not only lacking an attractive design, but also kind of like a phone from a Chinese manufacturer. The build quality, however, is decent. The aviation aluminium alloy chassis is smooth and cool to touch. The camera humps also next to none, and the Samsung logo's got some texture as well. Meanwhile, it packs a 4000 mAh battery, but it's only got 6.9mm of thickness. Impressive. The rounded and slightly curved edges in the meantime make it much more comfortable to hold than phones like the OnePlus 3T. The navigation buttons are also completely invisible when the phone's in idle, just like Samsung's Flagship offers. Hardware-wise, Samsung's finally put an LED notification light on its mid to high-end model. NFC is also a must. Surprisingly, the C9 Pro does one thing that even the flagship models from the same manufacturer lack: dual SIM plus a microSD card slot. The microphone is also a surprise. It's got dual channel again, the left channel and the right one. It's crystal clear and the tone is rich. Amazing. The fingerprint sensor is another surprise. It is again putting the S7 in an embarrassing situation. See, a tap. Even if I release it immediately, it unlocks in milliseconds. The design is undoubtedly uninspired, but the build quality is more than just satisfying. It is impressive, to be exact. Performance and features. It is kind of a shame that the C9 Pro is running the outdated Android 6.0.1, while we have no idea in the exact date that it will actually receive an Android 7.0 update. It is reported in Q1 2017. We'll see. The user interface, however, is thankfully identical to the S7, so we are getting the full flagship experience with all the Samsung's goodies on this giant phablet, including an essential feature for a 6-incher, one-handed mode. Multi-window that supports plenty of third-party apps are also here. Oh, floater window. Being the first ever Samsung phone to pack 6GB of RAM, real multitasking is what we're expecting. The newly added feature on the Note 7 Secure Folder is definitely a surprise. It actually locks selected files and apps in a separated partition on the drive. So when I say it's got an interface that is identical to the S7, it also means it's got scroll capture capability as well. Another surprise. Oh, and clicking the arrow on the screen capture shortcut, there we have screen recording. Always on display is also here. Customizations not comparable to the S7, but better than nothing. Last but certainly not least, the keep screen turned off option is actually another version of pocket mode, so it keeps your phone out of unexpected touches while it's inside your pocket. The performance is powered by a mid-range Snapdragon 653 octa-core processor, but hold on, it's got 4 Cortex-A72 cores clocking at 1.95 GHz and 4 Cortex-A53 cores, backed with 6GB of RAM, the first time for Samsung to do so. It delivers genuine late 2016 flagship performance. In the second round, we open the apps that are supposed to be running on the background. The 6GB of RAM magic applies on the C9 Pro here again. It literally flies. To make the long story short, it's iPhone-like experience. Definitely smoother than the Pixel S7 or the LG V20, backed with 4GB of RAM. According to the standard apps opening speed test, yep, it's even faster than the S7 Edge. Gaming experience on this giant screen is absolutely amazing. Performance-wise, inside the chassis, we've got a powerful Adreno 510 GPU, driving a 1080p screen. That's why we're getting buttery smooth graphics. Speaking of gaming, here we've got another feature that was exclusive to Samsung's flagships, the gaming center. We can record gameplays that merge your reaction, your beautiful face, and the games themselves. So it's got flagship performance with full set of S7 features. Extraordinary. Here we've come to the camera. It's got a 16 megapixels f1.9 lens on both the front and the back. It lacks optical image stabilization, unfortunately, as well as some crucial features on the camera app. So this is the manual mode on the C9 Pro. Manual shutter speed and white balance in kelvins are disappeared. HDR is also a separated mode. Anyway, in reality we are getting decent image quality under broad daylight. We can find a little bit of artifact, but details are crisp and clear. The colors, however, I was actually thrilled by the natural and true-to-life color scheme they've adopted on the C9 Pro. It's nothing alike to Samsung's flagships, but it's not necessarily a bad move. Having the HDR mode turned on, it handles high dynamic scenes better than I've expected as well. Time to check out the low light performance. At night it performs reasonably well in areas with adequate lighting. Artifacts becoming more noticeable, but the brightness there, and the digital noise handled quite well. Coming to more challenging scenarios, the C9 Pro performed even worse than some of the flagship killers out there. It lacks all the brightness, sharpness, saturation, also with plenty of digital noise and artifact. You will see the difference between the C9 Pro and the Pixel XL in seconds, without even zooming in. The front camera is also disappointing. Every time I wanted to take a selfie, I found it can't actually focus well. Later, I've found the C9 Pros locked the focus to a useless focal length. Unless you wanted to take selfies that captures only your beautiful face. It's not the end of the story. It lacks any form of video stabilization. Even when I try to hold the phone as stable as I can, the video is just usable. Once I started to walk, the video is simply not usable at all. So it's quite clear Samsung's keeping all her outstanding camera technology exclusive to the flagship models only. Multimedia experience. The massive 6 inches Super AMOLED display is the best thing on earth for video watching and gaming. Color reproduction, however, is again not what we've expected from a Samsung panel. It's not necessarily a bad thing again, it delivers much more natural and reasonable colors. Meanwhile, the inky black and the ultra-wide viewing angle boost the experience further. 1080p on a 6 inches AMOLED display is not the sharpest thing I've seen for sure, without a doubt. Pixelation's there if we take a look close enough. But it's certainly better than enough for daily media consumption. You will enjoy the white balance and the colors on this giant display anyway. Surprisingly, the C9 Pro is again the first Samsung phone to boast an iPhone 7 or HTC 10 like dual speaker setup. It sounds a little bit flat and unbalanced, but better than the S7 for sure. .5mm headphone audio output on the C9 Pro also holds up really well. Audio quality is not the best, but on a par with mainstream flagship, including the S7 and the Pixel. Or the battery, a 1080p Super AMOLED display with a massive 4000 mAh battery. What a nice combination. It's running Android 6.0 unfortunately, but the battery life is already one of the best. While the Snapdragon chipset supports Quick Charge 3.0, you won't be disappointed by the C9 Pro for the battery sector. The Samsung Galaxy C9 Pro. The design is not impressive, but we are getting decent build quality, with flagship performance, flagship user interface, flagship experience and all the features. Also, don't forget the huge battery, the massive display and the dual speaker setup. It is indeed an all-rounder. If you are shooting pictures with your DSLR anyways. So this is the C9 Pro from Samsung. Hope you all enjoyed watching this video. Like it if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.